This meeting is called to order at 7 o'clock. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome. We are being broadcast live tonight over Van Buren Television, Channel 12. So, Treasurer Budd, could you please begin by taking the roll?
I can. Trustee White?
Here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee Martin?
Here.
Trustee Frazier?
Here.
Treasurer Budd is here. Clerk Wright is excused. Supervisor McNamara?
I'm here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Thank you very much. The first item tonight will be approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Supervisor, I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
I have a motion for approval of the agenda by Trustee Miller and support by Trustee Frazier. Hearing no comments,
I have one comment.
go ahead.
I think we need to add the two items that were added that would have been, that were not on the original agenda. Items number 5 and 6 were added.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make that, do you want me to amend my
Could you
motion?
amend your motion?
Yes, I amend my motion to include 5 and 6.
Thank you. And Trustee Frazier, I take it you don't have a problem with that? Okay. Hearing no other discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion is approved. The next item is approval of the consent agenda. Trustee Martin, could you
Support.
read it off?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, which consists of item 1, work study session minutes of March 5th, 2018. Number 2, board meeting minutes of March 6th, 2018. Number 3, prepaid list of March 8th, 2018. Number 4, prepaid list of March 15th, 2018. Item 5, voucher list of March 20th, 2018. And number 6, the approval of the reappointments of Joyce Rahoyak, Ronald Blank, and Helen Foster to the Downtown Development Authority with terms to expire March 9th, 2022.
Support.
Thank you. I have a motion for approval by Trustee Martin and support by Trustee White. And before I call for the roll or any discussion, I want to make note that our Downtown Development Authority has served us very well. Past Supervisor Helen Foster has re-upped for another a term with the Downtown Development Authority. We want to thank her. Ron Blank, who is not only a hardworking business owner in our community, but also given very generously to our community in other areas, but mostly his time and his wisdom. And Joyce Rahoviak from Garden Fantasy, who has given her life, it seems, to her community. And we're very thankful that they're going to join us. Does anybody else want to make a mention? Or?
I'm just pleased that you took the time out to recognize these volunteers who put in so many hours, so thank you to all three.
I just, through the chair, I'd just like to say that without citizens' dedication and involvement, we wouldn't get the quality of what we've been able to accomplish, especially with the DDA in our main business thoroughfare on Belleville Road. They've done a tremendous job of improving things, and the pedestrian walkway that we're going to talk about tonight is just another added feature that will really add a lot to the community, safety-wise.
Okay. Hearing no further comments, we have a motion for approval, and it's been seconded. So all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Okay, public hearing. Yes, we're at public hearing. We have no public hearing tonight. We have correspondence. I already have a list, Budd, McNamara, and Miller for correspondence. Trustee,
I have no correspondence.
what's that?
I don't have a correspondence.
Okay. Right. Treasurer Budd.
Yes, I have a letter to Lisa Lorthinger. I would like to thank you for the work you've done to promote Van Buren Township and the business you highlight in your monthly newsletters. At the last board meeting, it was brought to the attention of the board that the MTA magazine had highlighted Van Buren Township with pictures and a brief history. It was commented on how good this article was written. A trustee on 3 occasions took credit for submitting the article, but it was later learned that the article was submitted by Lisa and not the trustee. So thanks again, Lisa, for all the work you do for the DDA and Van Buren Township, And I apologize that someone would take credit so deserving to you.
I have a
There,
comment.
no, you don't.
Yes,
Not
I
until,
do.
not until after, you can get into the line.
It's a correspondence.
Okay, so I'm next, and then you're,
Okay,
that's fair too. Okay, there are 1,200 townships, and of the 1,200 townships, the Michigan Township Association's Focus magazine is the key magazine, and once a month, they do one township. And we are so proud that our Assistant DDA Director, Lisa Lothringer, job, which is to promote our downtown development and the township, got an article into that, and it was a beautifully done article. We did not know who did it. She is terrific at her job. We're lucky to have her. Recently, Lisa had an article featured in the Michigan Township Focus, which showcased all the great things in Van Buren Township. At the last board meeting, credit was redirected towards a trustee, and that was a mistake. I've always been a firm believer in giving credit where credit is due. It is important that we correct the record and recognize the work was done by Lisa Lothringer. Now your turn, trustee. Trustee
Well-
Frazier or Miller,
Who has the floor, Kevin?
you said you weren't ready, you did not want to go.
I had asked you for the floor, not that I had a written piece of correspondence.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what I
And then
wanted.
trustee Frazier.
What I feel like I need to address this, since I was the one who asked the question of credit. And I understand exactly what happened, but I also should mention that I felt it was irrational behavior to take credit for this, because it was such a different perspective on how most of us, I can't say every board member here, but I've had a lot of feedback on how the public interpreted it. So when it's so different from the way not only I, but others saw it, I felt it was irrational. But I'm sure we'll get an explanation from trustee Frazier, and I'd like to hear what she has to say.
Well, I regret saying that. It was a beautiful article in Township Focus on the last page. I believe that, that Mr. Trustee White brought up. And I did immediately come to the township offices the next day to see Lisa, and she was out. And I immediately wanted to see Susan, but she was in Lansing for that week. And I did send a correspondence to Lisa thanking her. Glad to hear you are recovering and rehab is going well. At the last board meeting, Trustee White shared your great article highlighting all the diversity and interesting opportunities going on in Van Buren Township for residents. I sincerely apologize for the misunderstanding when Trustee White said, "I don't know who did this," and I jokingly said, "I did several times." I in no way had any intention of not recognizing the great work by our staff at next week's meeting after investigating who authored it. The article was not signed. I guess that it was probably the work of the DDA or the Recreation Department, which I regret not saying. I was in the township office early to see you and Susan the next day, but found out you were still out recovering. When I came back in the afternoon, which I did, I was told Susan was in Lansing. I have had a stressful work schedule, and one of my grandsons has had a tumor removed. Thankfully, everything should be fine. All I can do is apologize and say I certainly didn't mean to take any credit for your great article promoting what a great place Van Buren Township is. The DDA has always done an exceptional job at not only promoting the township, but making the quality of life better for our residents. I was in the township offices today, Friday 3/16, but I missed Susan and your office lights were not on. I assumed you were still out. I sincerely am sorry and hope this helps mend any damage caused. Sincerely.
Does anybody else have anything? No? No? Okay, we're moving on. We're now at public comment. This is now a discussion for public comment on new business agenda items. Non-agenda items will be heard near the end of the meeting. Is there anybody that wishes to speak on new business agenda items? Hearing no, we're going to move on. The first item of business is going to be considering approval of the Johnson Controls Tyco Integrated Security to provide a new security card access system to Van Buren Township Hall. This is to replace our current 14-year-old door security system.
Thank you.
Director.
Yes, as you mentioned, it's 14 years old. Just a few quick facts. It supports 8 buildings that currently have 46 electronic access doors running off that system. It has reached its capacity to add additional doors. It is running on outdated software and outdated hardware at this point. Replacement parts for the system are basically only available on eBay. Johnson Controls of Ann Arbor was the low bidder and the only bidder that quoted a hosted system upon opening the bids. They were the most persistent vendor during this process, asking many questions and following up with more. They gave a great demo of the system here at the township a few weeks ago. One point, the annual hosting fee is $3,666 per year, which breaks down to about $10.04 per day to ensure that the township is always running on the latest firmware and software revisions, and any software problem is their problem to fix. Finally, by balancing hosted systems with our current on-premise systems, it allows one of the smallest township departments to continue to maintain and administer our current systems, provide user support services on a daily basis, and also to complete on average 5 new technology-based projects on a yearly basis. Thank you. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Yes, Trustee
I
Miller.
didn't get a chance to ask you this yesterday, but is there any warranty with the equipment?
Yeah, there was,
Extended warranty?
I think it had it on here on the spreadsheet I had. It's labor is a 1-year warranty, and really, the parts, I believe, is a 1-year. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure the parts are a 1-year also. But keep in mind, the system's going to be off-site. Something fails there, that's theirs to fix there. We're going to have card readers at the door, which we already have, and there will be access control units that push the data to those card readers. So it's really minimal as far as hardware on this site. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 1-year parts, 1-year labor. Yeah.
Yes, Trustee Frazier.
I'd just like to just make sure that, so we can, if we redid anything at the township, we could add additional doors if needed.
Correct.
With this system.
Yes.
And since it is off-site, it's a better system for us because the updates occur automatically. Is that correct? We don't have to take time from you, our IT person, to update anything. It automatically does it itself.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And also, I think it'd be a good investment for us because security is such an important issue in the society that we're living in today.
Right.
So we can't be too careful.
We have 8 buildings that we're redoing. Every door is going to be redone. Some of them currently are not on the access sheet. This will allow us to track exactly who's going through each door, correct?
Yes, we can run reports and you can have audits, if, to see who went through the door. I can't specifically
And just
say.
to further let everybody know that we are moving to cloud-based, is that what you want to call it? What do you call it when you're moving
Hosted?
to? We are getting, our IT department is spectacular, but you're looking at our IT department.
I do
so-
have some help. I
Yeah,
have some
you
help.
do. Joel does a wonderful job too. He's more in GIS, but, so the plan then is basically to use the $3,000 yearly maintenance fee so that they can maintain the software end of this program, so that we don't have to. And that's where we're going at most
Yeah.
all of our programs.
And we have a number of on-premise systems here that we administer, and we'll still administer this hosted system as far as making cards and who goes where from the department heads. They'll tell us who to program in. But we still have a lot of systems to administer on a daily basis, whether it's email or whatever. So it's a pretty busy day with that, and you throw on projects on a pretty much daily basis as we have the last couple of years. It's a good balance to start sharing some of this burden, so to speak. So
Right.
outside, yeah.
Okay.
And we're not the only ones doing that.
Trustee
so it's-
Frazier?
So really, it's a cost savings to us to have it hosted off-site. When you really, I'm not saying a cost savings, but it does save that we do not have to have a larger tech department
That's
for
it
the
right there,
township.
because with a small department, you especially want to balance that out, because otherwise I'd be coming to you asking for maybe a system administrator, maybe a desktop person, but I haven't done that, and I know you don't want me to, so.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is the updates happening automatically is a big plus for us.
Yeah, the software is 14 years old, and we are buying parts on eBay, so it's time.
We haven't had to buy any parts on eBay yet, but we don't want to, so, yeah.
All right, hearing any further? No further conversation? Okay, we have do we have a motion?
No.
I am sorry, it was my fault.
Through the chair, I make
just-
a motion to approve the proposal by Johnson Controls to integrate the security and provide a new security card access in amount not to exceed $31,307.85 for Van Buren Township.
Support.
Okay, I've got a motion by Treasurer Bud, supported by Trustee Miller. Hearing no further conversation, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much, Director, I appreciate it. He's also getting to work on the phone system, which we're replacing this year. The next item is number 2, to consider approval of the proposal by Florence Cement to provide road paving for the McBride Road paving project in an amount of $528,450 with a 10% contingency. Trustee Frazier? Would you like to move approval?
Yes, of course.
I thought you would.
It's such a daunting task to finally get McBride Road
Okay.
paved.
I need a support. for this.
Support.
Okay, okay, I heard, okay. Okay. I have a motion by Trustee Frazier, support by Trustee Miller, and I don't know who over there was yelling, but I missed it. Dave Newmer, can you talk to us, because I want to throw wonderful accolades on you today.
Well, board members, I'm happy to be here tonight to talk about the bid award for McBride Road. I've got some good news to give you and some more good news to give you. Yesterday evening, we spoke about an issue with the Wayne County permit. Thanks to the diligence and some well-placed calls from the supervisor's office, we were able to get in touch with the right people this afternoon, had a conversation with the permits office. The sum total of that conversation was they had 2 or 3 small clarifying questions. They asked us to look at one slope that might be a little bit steep during construction. The end result is they're going to issue the permit, and there are no appreciable cost increase items due to that permit. So
I'm sorry, through the chair.
Yes.
When will they issue that permit? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
they'll issue it in the next couple of days when they get to it. But they told us that they had no other concerns, and the good news is that there aren't any requirements or changes that we need to make that are going to have any appreciable cost impacts on the project.
Through the
So,
chair, again, can you explain when the project will start and stop? And please spread the good news.
yes, I will. Maybe going into the second piece of good news. So the first piece was we got the permit taken care of, and once again, thanks to the supervisor's office for giving us the kickstart we needed on that. The second piece of good news is the bid that we got is a very good bid from a very reputable contractor. The bid came in at $528,450. Our estimate was $700,000, so they're considerably below our estimate. I believe Director Akers has got some information to share with you about what the proposed cost may be to the residents, which is also good news. As far as the contract actually starting, should we award the contract this evening, we'll be getting the contracts out to the contractor tomorrow. The work will start as soon as we can get contracts in place and have a pre-construction meeting, and as soon as is really feasible with the spring weather. It needs to warm up a little bit yet. But we will be starting construction as soon as we're able to in the spring, and we anticipate having the project done. The contractor's looking at a 10-week construction period, so it should be done well before school starts again next fall.
Okay, I'm just going to, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
I have to add that although although yesterday when I first heard about the fact that Wayne County was suddenly back involved with this thing, and this could actually literally push us back into fall, I didn't want to throw accolades at you. I wanted to throw stuff at you, but not accolades.
I am sure that you did.
But I can tell you that after talking with Wayne County at the end of it, it made it very easy for them to move this project ahead because they said it was an excellent drawing. It had everything they needed on it, so it was wonderful. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Okay, Trustee Frazier.
I just want to say that personally, I'm so grateful that McBride is getting paved this year. There was one concern, and I think you addressed it yesterday, about the quality of the asphalt. And, you know, because we get, I think in Michigan, sometimes we always use the lowest bidder and we don't get in cement work and we don't get quality. But this is going to be asphalted, so it's different. And I know we have to wait until the road unfreezes. It's too early to be pouring asphalt, but you assured us that, you know, this company is, Florence Cement is good and will do a great job for us, as Wade Trim has done a great job for us. And you've been cooperative and got the job done. Obviously, Wayne County likes the work you do, so we're happy to get it on the road. Because I met with the superintendent and the principal, and I said, did you want to wait until school is out to start? And they said, no, get those shovels in the ground now.
Yep. Get moving.
So the sooner the better is, you know, is the best approach, I think, because there's so much road repair work needed in the state that we want to get ours done as soon as possible.
Yes.
And I appreciate the diligence of the building department, the director Akers, and you working together to get that accomplished.
Glad to be of service to the township.
Okay.
Trustee Martin.
Mr. Newmer,
Yes.
what is the life expectancy of that road?
The design life expectancy of an asphalt pavement, of all asphalt pavements really, is 20 years. That's predicated on a certain routine maintenance cycle being done, crack repairs being done as cracks appear, reestablishing the shoulders and cleaning up the gravel in the shoulders, seal coating as required, so those types of regular maintenance. I will tell you that the paved roads that you have in the township, the vast majority of them are over 20 years old, and many of them are still in very good condition. So we from an engineering design standpoint, we give it a 20-year life expectancy, but I would expect that we would see much more than that.
Yes, Treasurer Bud.
Having talked to Ron and Matt today, and I would like to thank both of them, I understand, and also hats off to Kevin McNamara, but I think the conversations that Ron and Matt had definitely helped out, and they couldn't say enough. Dave, they also couldn't say enough how well the plans were, that Wayne County did not want to fight it. And a grandmother who has to travel that road, thank goodness it's going to get paved. Thank you.
Okay, I have, let's take this vote, and I have one more question before you sit down. Are we all set for taking a vote? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I have one more question now. So how much money do I have left on that grant? We have left on that grant as Van Buren? Because this board has already made a determination of what they want to do with it.
There's about $260,000 remaining.
And
Sorry.
the three people that there's 250,000 left, and the three people that lost out on the grant last year, total what, 360?
Yeah, it was about 360,000.
Right, at our last workshop, we talked about reallocating that to the, okay, then, all right, we just discussed this already, but I'm gonna just remind you. There's, we now have to spend $250,000 by the end of the summer. You've seen how long it takes to build a road. It takes a year to do the engineering and all that other work. We have we have about $360,000 worth of work that does not require that kind of engineering because they're piecemeal work within existing subdivisions. We can spend that very quickly so long as they have cash to put up front. And these three subdivisions, HOAs, had cash to do their 20% match, correct?
That is correct. Earlier in the year, they identified they had funds available
Okay.
to match the project.
So we'd already discussed it once, but I'm gonna bring it back forward. We're gonna notify them right away and tell them Merry Christmas. We have money for your roads, so.
There's a difference there that they will have to come up with. So
They do.
can we have this on the next work study to look at?
We're going to have to. We're gonna have to
Okay,
very
great.
quickly to spend this money.
Okay, can I ask one other question of the
Sure.
gentleman? How much of a savings to the residents of McBride are we looking at from what was originally told to
So,
them?
Originally, when we estimated the cost for the special assessment district, the payment was going to be about $600 a year for 5 years. Using the numbers that we have now and assuming we don't dip into contingency, it'll get reduced to approximately $210 per year.
Say that one more time.
I'm sorry.
It's a very good thing to say.
Originally, we anticipated it was going to be $600 per year. If everything goes and we don't have to break into contingency, it'll be approximately $210 per year for 5 years. If we have to go into contingency, it could go up to $310 per year for 5 years, but still, it's almost a 50% reduction from our original estimate.
I'm sure the residents will appreciate hearing that.
Definitely.
That's a huge difference.
We're almost done with McBride. We still have to approve Wade Trim's portion, which is, yes, sir,
On the money for the subs, what would the copay be for them? 20%?
20%.
Okay.
And you're talking about the ones that came to the
We had-
meeting?
Yes.
The one
Mc-
time?
McBride, and, excuse me, Director, who were the the HOAs that applied in the last go-around that were not awarded?
The HOAs were Walden Woods, Robinson River Park, Andover Farms, and then there was a very small patching in Charter Club.
Okay. Those will be those we're going to be contacting to see if they want to proceed at a slightly reduced.
I'll save my questions for the work study on that. Great.
Okay. It just, yeah, we discussed it already because just, we don't return money if we can help it. Okay. All right, we're on number 3, please. We're going to consider approval of the proposal by Wade Trim to provide professional engineering services for the construction of the McBride paving project in the amount not to exceed $73,400. Trustee Martin? Oh, go-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I thought he tried to do it earlier.
I make a motion to approve the proposal by Wade Trim to provide professional engineering services for the construction of the McBride paving project in the amount not to exceed $73,400.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I have a motion for approval by trustee Martin, and it's been supported by treasurer Bud. Dave, could you give us an update?
Yes. Thank you very much. As we talked about yesterday at the work study, there are 2 primary components that make up the total of the construction administration and construction services that we're providing during the project. $36,400 is the amount that was bid by the contractor for inspection services, and that's actually included within his bid. So of the $73,400, $36,400 is for the inspection. And then there's an additional $37,000 that would be for the contract administration. Of that $37,000, we also break out $8,000 of that is an allowance that we've put in there for materials testing, and that gets to Trustee Frazier's concern about the quality of the materials. We will be providing both an on-site inspector who will be there during the project. We'll be providing the construction staking to make sure that the road gets constructed as it's designed. And we will be providing construction materials testing and oversight to make sure that we get proper compaction on the gravel, proper compaction on the asphalt, that all the materials are in right, the concrete is up to snuff, and all of those good things. The work that we're proposing does include the materials testing and the construction engineering. Included in that construction engineering is going to be administration of the contract, processing pay estimates, weekly meetings with the contractor and the township to keep the project on track and on schedule. We will be conducting a resident meeting. So one evening, just before the project gets started, we'll call all the residents together And we'll be there with the Wade Trim staff, including our inspector who will be on the site, our field engineer who will be on the site, myself, and representatives from the contractor, so that the residents can actually get to meet the people who will be on site during the project. That way, if there's any questions or concerns, they know exactly whom to approach during the project. We'll be talking about things like construction site safety, going over those. We'll be going over the proposed improvements with the residents, answering any questions they may have. And we also use that resident meeting as an opportunity to get feedback from the residents about concerns that they may have. The one example that Director Akers cited last night was at one of these type of meetings, we talked to the resident, they said, oh, well, I've got dialysis, I need to get out every day at a certain time, and letting the contractor know that we were able to work around that schedule and accommodate that resident. And there's concerns like that that come up periodically. People have daycare, we know that there's the school there, and they've got certain things. We'll be working with the school to coordinate if there's any functions or, graduation ceremonies or anything that may be happening, that we try to accommodate those and have the road as accessible as possible during those types of activities.
Mr. Miller?
Mr. Newmer, as you know, this is a dirt road. Are engineering fees different with a dirt road that has no surface on it, whereas DeWitt and Venetian had something? Are the costs different when you're starting from scratch?
The costs are a little bit different just because of the duration of the project. We've based our estimate on the amount of time that the contractor bid in his estimate for inspection days. So they've bid 52 days, which is 10 weeks and 2 days. So we've based our estimate as well on a 10-week construction project. So the engineering fees that you're going to see associated with this project are kind of ratcheted up or higher than what we saw in the Venetian DeWitt project because the duration of the project wasn't that long. The scope of the work was smaller. Contractor was able to get in, get the work done, and get out much faster. So it's commensurate with the level of improvements. For example, a service that's provided on this road that wasn't provided on Venetian DeWitt is staking, because we'll be establishing actually a new horizontal and vertical profile for the road to make sure that it gets put in the right place and the right elevations and the right slopes and whatnot. So that all has to be staked and located in the field, where that's a concern with a new construction, whereas that wasn't a concern or a need with the reconstruction.
Great, thank you.
So you are going to have, was my understanding yesterday, a 2-foot asphalt shoulder and then a 2-foot gravel shoulder, equaling 4 feet of shoulder room on the road is being planned, correct?
It's 1 foot paved and 3 foot gravel, but it is a total of 4, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
total of 4.
Thank you.
And who said thank you?
I did, because
Okay.
I'm grateful for that
Oh, yeah.
reasoning, yeah.
And the residents, at the meeting, you're going to do everything you can to alleviate their fears about getting in their driveways, or, if they do have to park at some other facility and then walk across. You'll do everything to accommodate the residents as much as possible, correct?
Yes, we will. I mean, it's a construction project, and there are unavoidable delays and impacts on the residents, but there are a lot of things that we can do in order to minimize those. We'll be having the contractor put the road back in, at least to a gravel surface nightly, as well as they are able. When we do driveways, if the driveways are wide enough, we'll do them half at a time, so that if we pour the concrete in one half, you can sneak in on the other half, and then we'll flip-flop it. If it's too narrow to do half at a time and still get a vehicle through, we'll do it all at once, but we'll let the residents know ahead of time that there's a 3-day waiting period while that concrete cures before they can drive on it, and we'll make them well aware of that ahead of time so that they're aware of the impacts.
Because we certainly appreciate the cooperation those residents have shown to the township in order to get this road paved, because it has been a bad point in our school district and in the township for a long time. So having it paved is a plus for everybody.
Yeah, unfortunately, construction impacts are avoidable, but the goal is to try to minimize them, make people as aware as possible so the communication is there, and set the expectations so people know what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Martin?
Mr. Number, you said that they gave you a bid of a 52-day construction period.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any penalties if they go over that?
Yes, there are. This is set up in your contract as inspection days, and the way that we do that is, normally in the project, we give the contractor the quantities. So we'll tell them this many tons of asphalt and this many tons of gravel and on down the line. When we get to the inspector days, we give them the unit price and they bid the number of days they think it's going to take. If it takes more than 52 days, the cost of that additional inspection is deducted from the contractor's payment. So if it takes longer than that, they pay the inspection.
Now, on the other hand, if they get done early, is there a bonus?
If they get done early, it's an incentive to them, but the township can rest assured because since that inspection cost was actually bid in with the rest of their bid, and they're still the low bidder overall, you're still getting the best value on the project, even if they earn that incentive by getting done earlier, because you're still paying the lowest costs that you would have amongst all the contractors that bid.
Let me just ask, go ahead, trustee.
Supervisor, yesterday during the meeting, I requested that I be given a phone number so that I could call every person on that street. And I was told that they would be notified. But yes, I don't see that many of the residents here, and I'm sure it's very important to them. Were the residents notified that this would be on the agenda tonight?
No, they were not. They were not.
Through the chair?
Yes.
If I may ask of you, that when you gather the residents for a residential meeting on this road, that you also tell the board so that we can attend as well.
Absolutely.
To help with community engagement. Thank you.
Absolutely.
No, we fully did intend to, it just, we were trying to hit a moving target, because we did, if we would have ended up with a full-blown Wayne County review and a plan rewrite, this number wouldn't have been 210, it would have been closer to the $500-600 maybe even. Well, no, I don't doubt it would have ever gone up to that, but it would have gone up considerably. So it got to the point where, what did we tell them, that we're,
Right.
So we decided to focus on the problem and get that fixed. I'm just wildly curious, we always seem to have problems with roads a year after they're built. Do I have a 1-year warranty on this road?
I believe there is a 1-year warranty, yes.
And is there a cash bond?
The contract will be giving us a performance bond. That's different from a maintenance bond.
Okay.
The performance bond guarantees that they complete the project according to the plans and specifications. If for some reason the contractor went bankrupt or something
What happens
happened.
if I have cracks forming in this road 360 days afterwards? I've got 5 days left. Do I have any recourse as a township?
We would be sitting down and talking with the contractor about it. That's probably more of a legal question than an engineering question at that point as to how that warranty would be interpreted. But yeah, we would be sitting down and talking with the contractor about it and involving the township and probably your legal
And the
staff as
performance
well.
bond is good for a year, or is it good for?
Performance bond is good through the completion of the
So there's
project.
no maintenance bond in this at all?
I don't believe there is.
Through the chair. How much is the performance bond?
The performance bond is equal to the amount of the bid. So they're putting up a bond for $528,450. And that bond is there saying that they will complete the project as designed. So that they will finish the construction, finish the project, and go through the closeout process. If the contractor didn't do that for some reason, the township could then go cash the bond, hire another contractor, and finish the work.
Thank you.
Okay. I do have a motion for approval by trustee Martin, and it's been supported by treasurer Bud. Do I hear any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much. I appreciate the great work Waitrim did on this. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. All right, number 4. Number 4 is to consider approval of a resolution 2018-03. This authorizes the township to participate in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation Redevelopment Ready Communities. Director Akers, could you please take us through this? Oh, wait. Can I get a motion for approval?
I make a motion for approval.
Support.
Okay, I got a motion for approval by trustee
Miller?
Miller. You almost were treasurer there a minute. And treasurer Bud, support. Go ahead, Director Akers.
Thank you. Before you is a request to approve a resolution which allows the township to participate in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready Communities Program. The purpose of the RRC program is to measure, then certify communities that integrate transparency, predictability, and efficiency into their daily development practices. The RRC process consists of 3 steps, which are engagement, evaluation, and certification. In order for the township to be engaged into this program, the township board needs to pass a resolution, which is before you. We need to
You're
perform.
gonna have to get much closer to that microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, there's air blowing.
We need to perform a self-evaluation of our development policies, so our master plan, zoning ordinance, capital improvement plan, and then and attend trainings. And once those items have been completed, we will submit our formal application to the state of Michigan. Once they receive our application, we'll be put on a waiting list to have our community formally reviewed by staff members for the MEDC. And once that review happens, they will come back to the township board and give a presentation and recommendations for how we can improve our development processes and internal procedures. The result of the program is a comprehensive evaluation of our processes and to ensure that they are transparent, predictable, and efficient. The benefits to doing this, as it is a no-cost program, include not only realizing efficiencies and ways to improve, but also once certified, there may be additional opportunities for grants and marketing support from the state of Michigan. With that, I know we discussed it at work study last night. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions the board may have.
I'm just going to repeat a little bit of what he said because the audience may not have heard it. Basically, we are going after a certification by the state of Michigan's economic development. We're going to do best practices. We're going to change some of our procedures. We believe we do 95% of what they want anyway. If we can become certified by them as, I use the word premier a lot, but premier communities do what they expect us to do in this, then we can go after certain things like grants. And grants are very powerful, especially when you consider when a corporation comes here, they want us to upgrade our infrastructure. The last time we upgraded our infrastructure in a major way, it was Visteon. And we're not going that way anymore. So this is another tool in our box where we can get some money to attract industry, or not industry, but smaller industry. Trustee Miller.
So I think this program, this participation that we're going to do will pay for itself. It's well invested into our community. So I think it's wonderful. And when will this start?
Once we submit the app, I have to attend a training on April 10th. After that training, I will submit all of our information to the state. It's my understanding there's a 3 to 4 month waiting period because they recently opened up the program to all municipalities within the state of Michigan. So there will be a 3 to 4 month waiting period. However, based on their self-evaluation criteria, we know what they're going to be looking for. So we're going to start prioritizing and looking at the different recommendations they make in there, such as public participation plan or policy. There's an economic development strategy requirement that is recommended as well. So we're going to start implementing and working on some of those things prior to receiving our formal review back because we know they're going to be coming. But we probably won't hear back from the state for another 3 to 4 months.
All right, look forward to that.
Trustee Frazier.
I'd just like to say, I think using best practices in this Michigan economic development is a good turn because I think they will help us prioritize giving our community members good public service, and they will emphasize how we can become more efficient at operating the township. And looking at different jobs that we have people doing and how they can overlap or share people, whatever. Because in this day and age, we need to be aware of everything that we're doing now. And I just think it's a great opportunity. You can't become a great community unless you use best practices.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I have a motion for approval by trustee Miller, supported by treasurer Bud, to authorize the township to participate in the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready Community Program. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Director. Next item, the Director's back. Okay, all right, this is to consider approval of a resolution 2018-04, which is a resolution for the Belleville Road improvement for a pedestrian bridge that will go over I-94. It will be built by the DDA. It is for the DDA to assume the township's obligations under the proposed contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation. You will notice that the next one is similar, but they both have to be done separately.
Through the chair.
Treasurer Bud.
I make a motion, we approve Resolution 2018-04, a resolution for Belleville Road improvements and a pedestrian bridge for the DDA to assume the township's obligations under the proposed contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Trustee Martin. Okay. Any questions?
I think it's a great project.
Yes, absolutely needed.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go through the quick overview from our side of it. The DDA has been planning this for 3 years?
Yep.
3 years. On the east side of our Belleville Road Bridge over I-94, we're going to build a 10-foot wide pedestrian crossway. It will have black wrought iron. It will have a Van Buren logo, I believe. It's going to have beautiful lighting. It's going to say, "Welcome to Van Buren" on the other side of it. It's going to have crosswalks at the ramps that are activated by pushing a button, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay. It'll allow pedestrian and bicycle traffic over I-94 in a safe way. The DDA is planning on doing this. New laws at the state of Michigan normally the DDA would bond this out on their own. The DDA is paying for it on their own, and the DDA has set aside a contingency of money to pay for the maintenance of this bridge going forward. But the township has to actually buy this bond because of the new way the state of Michigan laws are, okay? Which basically say DDAs that have a sunset, which ours does at 2038, can't bond when you're not gonna exist. And this bond will go out to about 2038. Any other questions? Anyone else?
Mr. Supervisor, I apologize. I just want to make one minor clarification. The request going before them is to approve the contract. The DDA still has the ability to bond by themselves, but the request coming before the board is for a contract between the township and MDOT.
Okay.
So I apologize.
Just wanted clarification on the lighting. Will this be LED?
I believe so.
It will be LED. I've already seen it. In fact, I don't think you can get anything but LED anymore.
But it won't match the downtown lighting, correct? Can you explain on that a little bit?
Actually, the DDA, and I apologize, I don't have all the details on this project, but the DDA is working on converting all of the lighting on Belleville Road to LED, so it will match.
All right, thank you.
Through the chair. I just think this is a awesome project, one that's very needed. I saw two ladies in motorized wheelchairs, as Ms. Foster brought up yesterday at the meeting. And they were using their wheelchairs going over the bridge like they were cars, and how dangerous could that be? There's a number of students from the high school that ride across that bridge every day. And there's people that walk to Myers and Walmart, almost every other day. You see the same people walking. And it's a dangerous thing to have to do because especially when the weather is questionable. And this will be a great safety feature for our residents, and one that I commend the DDA for taking on and sticking with it and doing it. It's the main thoroughfare, Belleville Road. It's our business district and it runs into Belleville, so it's well worth it.
Yes. Trustee White.
Director, will this walkway or path be completely enclosed without the capability of trying to play tag with cars, as, for example, dropping rocks, debris, metal, anything else from the bridge? Will the screening be close enough to prevent that?
Yes, it will be. MDOT actually has very stringent guidelines and to ensure that fencing is put up along the road so that doesn't occur. So that was incorporated into the design of the bridge.
Thank you.
Thank goodness.
Okay, you read this thing off, didn't you? Exactly the way it said? Did you read that?
No, not,
I'm going to read this because there's two, because we're dealing with bond councils out of New York. I'm going to make sure I get it right. All right, this resolution is a Resolution 2018-04, a resolution for Belleville Road improvements and pedestrian bridge for the DDA to assume the township's obligations under the proposed contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation. I have a motion for approval by Treasurer Bud. I have support by Trustee Martin. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you. Now I'm going to read this one. In fact, yeah, I'm going to read this one and do it again. This one is number 6. This is to consider the approval of a contract between the township and the Michigan Department of Transportation with regards to construction of a non-motorized path along the east side of the Belleville Road over I-94. Can I get a motion for approval?
Supervisor.
Trustee White?
I move that we approve item number 6 on there with one question. Non-motorized path, does that exclude motorized wheelchairs?
No.
Great question.
Bikes are gonna be able to.
No, I think they got a horsepower rating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the specific requirement is for the horsepower rating. I do know it prohibits the use of automobiles, so if somebody was in a motorized wheelchair, they would absolutely be able to use the path.
I would hope would not exclude
I
that.
support the motion.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion for of approval by Trustee White and supported by Trustee Miller. This is pretty much the same thing we just discussed. It's just language that has to be done for the bonding. Does anybody have any further discussion?
Just one quick question.
Okay.
Who will be responsible for maintenance of this pathway?
The Downtown Development Authority will be responsible for the maintenance of the pathway. As I had indicated in the letter that I gave to you, the DDA has a sunset date of 2038. That's when the tax increment revenues stop coming in. What the DDA is doing to offset the cost of the long-term maintenance for the township is they're putting funds into escrow, so that way the township has the money from the DDA to cover long-term maintenance for the life of the bridge.
Great, thank you for that explanation.
Any other questions? Okay, I have a motion for approval. I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item is reports, and we have no reports today. After that, we go to announcements. I have one. We have, I sent this over to the newspaper just because I thought it was something that's kind of fun for us for a change. We talked about starting the K-9 group again. We put it in our budget. We have now gone through. I have a letter here from Greg Lorraine. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, Officers Barry and Reedy tested for the K-9 position last Wednesday at K-9 Academy. Both officers expressed their passion for the position. They were well prepared physically and for the intense interview process that followed. What we have seen during the testing phase made us very proud to have both of them representing our departments. At the end of the week, it was difficult making a selection between these two fine officers. With that being said, please join us in congratulating Officer Barry, who has been selected for the position of K-9 handler and will begin his training in April. I hope all members will show their continued support for the program and to Ryan throughout and beyond his initial training. You're probably going to see him a lot because, quite frankly, the dogs are out all the time when we're at our events. And so we're back in the canine business.
Right, through the
Alright.
chair, if
Yes.
I may. I think this is wonderful that we had two officers wanting to step up and be a canine handler, because it is such a huge commitment, not only on the job, but outside of the job as well. So that canine, that dog, that is part of their family, and they become very attached to it. So to find two who are willing to step up, that's amazing. So thank you to both, and congratulations.
Okay. Nothing?
Do you have another announcement?
No, I don't.
I have an announcement.
Okay, all right.
I walk in Lower Huron Metro Park pretty often, especially in the summertime, and I've seen a lot of dog training in the park there, because they do use the park to train their canines and to work with them. And they will keep an officer's cap or somebody's cap, and he'll go walking down through the woods and around everything else. And when he's out of sight, they'll have the dog to sniff the cap and turn him loose. And it's interesting to watch how the dogs act and how the officers react with their dog, or the handlers react with their dog. And it's a very efficient operation. And I think that we've experienced that a couple of times in the past here with help from the county to the west of us on issues like this. So I think that this is a great program for us. I'm 100% in support of it, and I think it'll be a huge benefit to our residents.
I have an announcement. Everyone needs to know that the Township Hall will be closed this Friday. We are going to have an emergency preparedness meeting here with all of the employees. So once again, the Township Hall will be closed on Friday. If you have to make a payment, we have the drop box in front of the Township Hall. And there is also one in the lobby of the police department if you have to make a payment. Thank you very much.
I guess I should bring up the fact that we are also going to be closed for Good Friday, which would be the 30th. So Good Friday's the 30th, and township offices are closed that day. Trustee Frazier.
I have an announcement. I just wanted to remind the community that the robotics tournament will be held at the high school this weekend on Friday and Saturday. They expect to have thousands of people into town at the hotels and using the downtown for eating purposes, and it should be a very great event. They've worked very hard. They've had a lot of parent volunteers that have organized this tournament. Last year was the first year that Belleville got into it, and those instructors did a wonderful job of getting those kids prepared and ready to compete. Even though it was their first try, they did win some recognition at the tournament. And now I forget, I think there's like 20-some schools from all over the state that are going to be participating. It may be 33.
I don't know about New York.
Yeah, but they will be coming, and Belleville is having the honor of hosting it, and that's quite an honor. And I just want to thank all the parent volunteers that have worked so hard at organizing it. And they do have a lunch that's going to be catered, and I'm sure that all of us have been invited, and I would encourage you to try to go at least one of the days so that you can see what a great job they're doing up there. They're getting kids prepared for the real world and the engineering jobs that are out there. It's not just boys, it's girls too. So, thank you.
Excellent.
One other note on that, our high school did go out by the west last 2 weekends ago, and we're teamed up with different teams, and through the whole process and through the course of the day, our team was picked to go with the team that was in first place, and they picked Belleville because they liked one aspect that Belleville could handle, and they ended up coming away with a gold medal. So that's something that they can be very proud of. And like last year, like Sherry said, they did get a rookie award because it was their first year. And I know the Civic Fund, we took a check up to them to help support the program, and the robot came out and souped up that check, just like that. It was gone.
That's cute.
Wish him the best as they go for it this year.
I know my neighbor's excited about it. He's actually got me picking up parts after the meeting, so for it, but, I mean, he's the one that's working. But, yeah, they're very excited. I guess this robot scoots around and picks up blocks and puts them in this cubicle.
Puts them in this cubicle.
And from what I understand, it's the best one around, at least the first one time around it was. So,
Just one note.
yes, trustee White.
I hope that everybody noticed that the supervisor wore his green tie today. So he's a true Irishman, still celebrating, but he refused to dye his hair green.
No, that's not happening.
I just want to remind people to take a look around because the hotel on the North Service Drive, they've got stakes up there and they're starting to build. And also at the corner of Tyler and Belleville Road, the Speedway gas station that's going in there have their flags out for their water and or gas and electric lines. So it won't be too long until that'll be going in also. But bringing another hotel in, a big name like, I think it's Comfort Suites, is it? Or which one? I forgot.
Comfort Inn Suites.
It's the new hotel, it's a Marriott Town Place Suites.
Oh, Marriott.
Extended
What more do we want? Marriott, it's good to get them in town.
We are doing
So-
very well economically, but we are drawing the line that we are not going to do these massive infrastructure upgrades. If they want to come here, they're going to have to do them. We are not in trouble financially anymore. The landfill deal stopped all that. We are solid. We don't need to take on anything, any major growth to continue. We can happily live our lives here and grow slowly with companies that want to be here. And that's kind of what this board has told me to do over the last 6 months, and that's what we've been doing, so.
Through the chair, if I may ask, is there any hope with Menards opening sooner rather than later in June? What is the forecast right now?
The current forecast that I've heard is late May, early June. I think they're trying to target June 1st as an opening date. Part of the reason why they're opening a little bit later than anticipated is midway through the construction process, they decided to double the size of the mezzanine on the inside of the store, and part of that is they have to do the extra work associated with it. So it's good. It took them a little bit more time. But the latest date that I've been given was late May, early June, around June 1st is where they're targeting for a grand opening.
I guess they're gonna have stores all in their lobby.
And by the way, I did see the Menards sign was brought in today on the big truck, and it's a green Menards sign, and that's going up. So I don't think it'll be long until people will know what for sure it is.
Supervisor.
Trustee White?
I don't think anybody is happier than I am to see the Menards store being built. Currently, in the evening, most evenings, they have their parking lot lights on for a period of time. They're cleaning the parking lot on a daily basis. So their preparation is going forward in a very smooth operation. I've been told that they will bring employees from other stores and have a soft opening, and it won't be actually advertised for a couple of weeks until after they do open for everyone to be there, because they want to make sure their employees are adequately trained and that their employees are knowledgeable, and they will have help from all the other stores when they do open for the first month and everything to be sure that customers are taken care of. And I knew the store was going to go up fast because it's all preformed. It all comes out of Wisconsin, and they build these stores regularly. They'll probably have another store started already someplace, so they do go up real fast. And I'm just proud and happy to see Menards store go up, so.
They are building a Menards on Eureka Road in Taylor.
Yes.
Across from Wahlburgers that's going in there too, just in case you don't know.
And, you know, it's important to have the Menards is important to us, but it's more important we get the jobs. And that's why I'm looking right over there. I've asked Director Akers and Director Best today in an email to find out how we get the word out, how to apply for jobs for our local residents at that Menards store. They're gonna locate that information, and we're gonna try and get that information out through our website, through our newsletters and stuff like that. So any of our people that wanna get a job, you know, the idea was that we were gonna get jobs out of this too, so we'll forward that information too.
I think it is done online. Menards does their hiring online with.
We've gone online, and we
Menards
can't
site.
find it. That was the irony of it all.
I thought there were people in there looking. Well,
Yeah.
we'll check on that. I'll
So
check
that's
on
why
that
We're
tomorrow.
looking now. Okay, I think we're all set?
One more thing.
Yes, go
I'd
ahead.
like to thank Dan Solomon tonight for stepping in and taking notes,
Dan.
while the Clerk Wright, and the deputy clerk, Montgomery, are away at a master's academy, so thank you, Dan. I look forward to your minutes.
Yeah. Dan always does a super job.
Yes,
He
yes.
goes above and beyond, always.
Absolutely.
We're lucky. Okay, the last time would be public comment. Public comment. Anybody from the public? Nope. Okay. Nobody from the public. All right, well, we're down to adjournment. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Support.
Trustee Martin, supported by Trustee Miller. Non-debatable. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Turn the lights on.